Many customers use frevvo to create forms with extensive dynamic behavior, such as showing fields only when they're relevant, automatically filling in fields, and performing calculations. They love the flexibility and power of frevvo when it comes to creating dynamic forms. With frevvo's visual rule builder, it's easier than ever to create these dynamic behaviors, and anyone can do it. Let's take a look at a few examples. This is one of the most common scenarios. You want the user to fill in a section, but only if some conditions are met. A simple example is to show billing address, only if it's different from shipping. With frevvo's visual rule builder, it's very easy to set this up. Click the rules icon to navigate to the rules editing mode. Click plus to add a new rule, give it a name, and run the rule builder. The first screen is the condition. Click to add a condition. We want to run this rule when the checkbox is checked, which means its value is no. So we choose the checkbox control by name and set the condition. Click Next. On this screen, we specify what to do when the condition is true. We'll add two actions that make the billing address section visible and required. Click Next. On this screen, we specify what to do when the condition is false. We'll add two actions that make the billing address section hidden and optional. Click Finish. That's it. Try it out and see that the form behaves as desired. Dynamic show hide is also very common on approval workflows, where we only want to show a section on a particular step. For example, we want to show the manager approval section only on or after the manager step. When you create approval steps using the Workflow Design Wizard or the Add Step Wizard, frevvo automatically adds the rules for you. The Visual Rule Builder also allows you to select the current step condition in the wizard and take appropriate actions, so it's very easy to create this kind of dynamic behavior. Another common use case is to initialize fields in the form automatically, so the user doesn't have to type unnecessary information. When you use the Workflow Design Wizard, some common fields and a rule to initialize them are added for you. Here's a simple example. We have a form with a date field and a few user fields, and we want to initialize them when the form loads. Once again, the Visual Rule Builder makes it a piece of cake. Click the rules icon and navigate to the rules editing mode. Click plus to add a new rule, give it a name, and run the rule builder. The first screen is the condition. Check the initialization rule only, since no specific condition is required. Click Next. We want to set 4 fields, so there will be 4 actions. Select the fields. For the operation, we want to set them to a value. An expression box appears. In the expression box, simply type the appropriate function similar to an Excel spreadsheet. Just start typing and the box will show the choices, for example, today for today's date. The functions have sensible names and are extensively documented. Click Next. Since we did not specify a condition, there's nothing to do in the false case. Click Finish and we're done. Try it out and see that the form fields automatically fill in with the desired information. Now let's take a look at another common scenario, performing calculations. The form might look something like this. There's a table with 4 columns, item description, quantity, unit price, and subtotal. The subtotal for each line is computed as the product of quantity and unit price. There's also a grand total, which sums the individual lines. With JavaScript or other programming languages, you'd have to create a loop, use temporary variables, etc., and the syntax can be confusing. With frevvo's Visual Rule Builder, it's straightforward. As before, click the rules icon and navigate to the rules editing mode. Click plus to add a new rule, give it a name, and run the rule builder. The first screen is the condition. In this case, a subtotal can only be calculated when the quantity and unit price are filled in, so that's what we'll set up in the first panel of the wizard. Click Next to define what actions to take when the condition is true. Once again, the Visual Rule Builder is straightforward. We want to multiply quantity and unit price, so we simply set the subtotal to the desired expression. We don't have to worry about the fact that these are repeating fields in a table. There's no loop or array indexes to consider. Click Next. In this panel, we set the subtotal to empty when the condition is false. This ensures that the subtotal will be cleared if quantity or price are empty. Click Finish and we're done with the subtotal calculation. Click plus to add another rule for the grand total and run the rule builder. There's no condition required, so leave it empty. And click Next. We'll set the grand total to the sum of all subtotals using a function. That's it. The sum function is smart enough to ignore empty rows and treat them as zeros. Click Finish and we're done. Try the form and see that it correctly computes subtotals and the grand total. These are just some examples of creating dynamic behavior using frevvo's visual rules. Customers love the power of dynamic forms and workflows. With the Visual Rule Builder, it's even easier to do. In most cases, no coding is needed and anyone can easily create dynamic and really useful forms and workflows. Please visit our website and sign up for a free trial to try the Visual Rule Builder yourself. Thanks for watching!